Hello students, this class is for class 9. Today we are going to discuss about the chapter atomic structure and chemical bonding. So let's start the class. Our topic is atomic structure and chemical bonding. So at first, what is atom? Atom is the smallest indivisible particle without any substance. That means it can't be divided in other parts. That idea of atom was given by, that is the smallest indivisible particle idea was given by as first Maharishi Kannan, and the second one was John Dalton. Okay, so atom is the smallest indivisible particles of a substance. Now, there exist some subatomic particles. There also exist some subatomic particles within that atom. Atom contains a nucleus part, and within that nucleus there exist two subatomic particles, that is proton and neutron, and outside that there exists electron. So, in today's class we will discuss about how electrons, protons and neutrons were discovered. First, I am explaining about the idea of getting the charged particles. How the idea of getting charged particles were obtained. Okay. There exists a term static electricity, or it is also called frictional electricity. Frictional electricity. For static electricity, frictional electricity is what? When electricity is generated, we are rubbing anything. Suppose we are combing our hair. When we are combing our hair, the comb generates some types of electricity. Okay, that is called static electricity, or electricity generated due to friction. That is electricity generated due to friction or rubbing. Okay. Now, there was one scientist, Michael Faraday. Faraday explained that anything can generate electricity when it contains some charged particles. So, what is the Faraday statement? Faraday told that according to Faraday, any substance can generate electricity when any substance can generate electricity when it contains charged particles. When it contains charged particles. So, compare these two statements. One is static electricity and other is Michael Faraday's statement. Anything can generate electricity when it contains charged particles, and the static electricity is what? Any substance is generating static electricity when it is undergoing friction or collision or rubbing something else. That means every substance must contain some charged particles to generate electricity. Any substance, when we are rubbing or getting friction generating electricity, that means they must contain some charged particles. That was the query, what are those charged particles? And depending upon this concept, scientist J.J. Thomson performed a discharge tube experiment to find out that charged particles. So, the experiment by J.J. Thomson was discharge tube experiment. Discharge tube experiment. The discharge tube looked like this. This is a discharge tube. This is vacuum pump. This is vacuum pump. There exist some gases, some unknown gas. The gas exists in very low pressure. Very low pressure. Okay. Here exists a metal plate. We are using metal plate as an electrode. Electrode contains cathode and anode, and metal plates are used in case of cathode and anode. Metals are used because they can conduct electricity easily. That's why metals are used. So, there are two metal plates. This is the negative metal plate and this is the positive metal plate, and they are attaching with a induction coil. With the help of this induction coil, we can give high electricity, high electric charge. This is called induction coil. This is called induction coil. So with the help of induction coil, when we are giving high electric charge, Thomson seen that rays are coming. Thomson saw that the rays are coming from negative electrode to that of positive electrode, and unknown rays are going towards the positive electrode. Okay, some rays. So what are those rays? See, the negative electrode is termed as cathode according to, and this positive electrode is termed as anode. This is termed as anode. Okay. Now, according to electrolysis, negative electrode is termed as cathode and positive is termed as anode. Now, rays are coming from cathode to anode. That's why these rays are called as cathode rays. These rays are termed as cathode rays because they are going from cathode to anode. That is, they are generating from cathodes. Hence, cathode rays. Okay. Now, you can see that they are going towards the positive electrode. That means they have some attraction or affection towards positive. And positive can only attract negative things. That means these cathode rays must be negative to get attracted towards that positive electrode. That means cathode rays are negative. Okay. So this was the discharge tube experiment. By this vacuum pump, we are pumping out the gas inside this field and making a vacuum and putting the new gases. Okay. So this is the whole setup of discharge tube experiment by J.J. Thomson. And by the invention of cathode rays, he identified that these cathode rays are negatively charged, and from these negatively charged cathode rays, he identified the idea of electrons. Okay, that was the point. He discovered the negatively charged electrons. So, what are the properties of cathode rays become? There is one point, that is to generate electricity in a discharge tube, minimum 10,000 volt of electricity by that induction coil should be given. So, to generate cathode rays, minimum 10,000 volt, volt of electric charge should be given by induction coil. Now, by this discharge tube experiment, what are the properties Thomson got? Properties of cathode rays. Properties of cathode rays. First of all is, the cathode rays are going in a straight line. So, cathode rays travel in a straight line. They are not deflecting. They are traveling in a straight line. This is the first characteristics. The second one is the most important, that they are negatively charged. That is the idea of electrons. So cathode rays are negatively charged. Cathode rays are negatively charged. Now we can perform another experiment to prove that is the proof of that that cathode rays are negatively charged. What is that experiment? Suppose in this discharge tube experiment, this is the discharge tube. Okay, this is the negative electrode, this is the positive electrode, and rays are coming in this way. Suppose we are putting an electrical field in this discharge tube. Okay, we are giving a negative field here and giving a positive field here. An electrical field is given to that discharge tube, that is a negative field and a positive field. Whenever this electrical field is given to that discharge tube, it can be seen that rays are deflecting towards this positive, like this. Generally cathode rays are passing in a straight line, but whenever we are giving an electrical field, the cathode rays are bending, that is deflecting, and it is bending towards that of positive electrical field, and that definitely proves that these cathode rays are negatively charged. So this is the third point, that in presence of electrical field, the cathode rays gets deflected. In presence of electrical field, cathode rays deflects towards what? Cathode rays deflects towards the positive field, cathode rays deflects towards the positive field, and this third point is important, and definitely it is proving that these cathode rays are negatively charged. So I have discussed about 3 properties of cathode rays. In our next class we will discuss about some more properties of cathode rays and the discovery of protons and its characteristics.